Okay, leaders, this is where we start to get you guys to do different things, because now the different groups are at a point where it's time to start using your role to help the team out better. So in week 3, you guys start watching videos, and sorry you got Matt for the first 2, where you had to do the mission background and the potential science objectives. Everybody needed to watch those because everybody on the team needs to understand the mission, and you need to understand what the science objective is. You guys get the 3rd video for you is on leadership, because now you're the PM and you're the chief engineer. So you're in charge of this project. And so we title this one Leadership versus Management. A lot of people think these are the same thing, but they're not. And so you need to understand what being a leader is. I don't care. Manager is great, but if you're not a good leader, your team's not going to do well no matter what. So I want to make sure you understood that. So basically leadership, you need to think about it as being inspirational, right? You're the chief, you're in charge. They need to see you doing as much work or not as more work than they are doing as the team. Because if you don't, it's not going to work real well. So you're the inspiration. You're the one that's got to keep the team going. Like I said in the video introduction in week 1, there's going to be times during this semester when the team doesn't want to do this anymore. You get usually about halfway through, people start going, this is not for me. This isn't fun anymore. I don't like this. And your job is to say, no, we're going to keep doing it. And you lead by example is the best way to do it. So you get in there and you make sure, maybe it's you have to work after school sometimes, maybe you have to work on the weekend sometimes. All those things have to happen, and that's what being a true leader is about, is when the rubber meets the road, you're right there doing it with them. And so you need to make sure you do that throughout this entire process. Basically, the leader chooses a competent team. I don't know if you're going to be able to choose your team or if they're going to be assigned to you, but you need to make sure and assign them roles that each person on the team is comfortable with, you know. Nobody knows what they're doing right now. The design group is starting to understand some stuff if they stayed awake long enough during Matt's 3 presentations. See, you got me for the 3rd one. The design group got Matt for all 3. They drew the short straw. So they're starting to understand what they're doing. The CEA group is going to learn a little bit of what they're doing in team identity. But so right now, though, you've got to get people comfortable. And maybe after the first week or so, someone says, hey, I'm not for design group, I'm more in CEA, and vice versa. So make sure you get everybody comfortable in what they're doing. And basically, great leadership is necessary to manage great projects, right? The only way projects become great is because they had great leaders. They need great people, but that's not how it begins. The beginning of this project is all about you as the leadership, as the PM and the chief engineer. You have to be the ones that get everybody inspired, that get everybody on the same page, that get everybody really jazzed up about this project, okay? So it's your job to do that. Then it will trigger. The team will then feel your excitement and what you want to do with it, and they'll go forward from there. So that's what you have to do more than anything. Matt's over here shaking his head because he's not on camera right now. I don't know if it's that or he's just tired and he's nodding off. One of the two.
Yes, this is correct.
Oh, so he's agreeing with me. It's a shocker. All right. So a good example to think about is Apollo 13. For those of you who don't know, we sent Apollo 11 to the moon. Neil and Buzz landed on the moon. We sent Apollo 12, worked out great. So by Apollo 13, everybody was kind of bored in this country with it back then because we'd already done it twice. It was no big deal. So we shipped up Jim Lovell. Don't remember that people's names. Jim Lovell.
Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, Kevin Bacon played him in the movie. Can't remember the names. Anyway, we shipped them up. They thought it was no big deal. They were going to go to the moon, land on the moon, and do their little science experiments and say, ooh, look, there's more dirt, just like Neil and Buzz found. But on the way there, the oxygen tank blew up and really caused a major crisis in NASA. And so that's when the great leaders emerge. So Apollo 13 is one of those, for NASA, it's considered a great success as a project. And they didn't land on the moon, but what ended up happening is they survived and came back. So Apollo 13 was a really cool leadership example. And so there was a guy by the name of Gene Kranz. He's still around, but he's very old now. He was the flight director and in charge of the mission from a mission control in Houston. And basically, he stayed there 24/7 and made sure everything happened to make those astronauts come home. He slept there. He did everything he could. So guess what? Everybody else did exactly the same. He showed by leadership what should happen, right? And so he did it. And that made that successful. They figured it out. If you've ever seen the movie Apollo 13, you can see about how they had to figure out about the free return trajectory, how they had to get the oxygen to handle all right. They had to go in the LEM in the lunar module, but in the lunar module, they didn't have the right filters for the carbon dioxide. So they had to literally put a square peg in a round hole. So he figured that out, helped lead that effort, and they got it all back to normal. And the 3 astronauts came back, which was a really fantastic thing to do back then. We didn't know if that was going to work out or not. So he's a good example of what a leader should be. And so that's what we hope you, obviously, you won't have the tragedy and, of, oh my Lord, 3 people are dying, hopefully, over this semester. If not, this is a really crazy experiment for you. But you should see that kind of as an emulator to be able to understand what leadership is about, because it's up to you. Remember, we say the buck stops with you. You have total authority and total responsibility for this project. You can make the decisions, you can decide things, you're supposed to be the ones that do that, and you have the responsibility to make sure it happens. In the end, if something fails, if something breaks down, we're going to look at the 2 of you, both the project manager and the chief engineer, and go, why did it go wrong? Okay? So you're the ones that are in charge of this. So key points about project management. And it's the project manager, but I also consider the chief engineer to be the technical leader of the project as well. So you need to make sure you set mission and set the mission and the goals, right? So hopefully your goal is to win this competition. That is what I want you to do. If your goal is, all right, we want to get an A in Miss blah blah blah's class or Mr. blah blah blah's class, whatever it is, you sit down and determine what the goals are for the team. I really hope you want to win, because that makes a really cool project when you're out to be competitive and you want to win to get this to win the overall. But get your mission set. Sit down, choose the science objective. Sit down with the team and say, what do we want to do? Where do we want to do it? And everybody agree, okay? For me, I'm an engineering manager as one of my degrees. And so what we always made everybody do is we had to give the thumbs up. So everybody on the team either had to have the thumbs up or the middle, meaning I don't care either way we go, but no one had the thumbs down. And I suggest you do that with this part especially. Make sure the entire team buys in to your mission. What are you going to do? What's the science objective? Where are you going to go? So everyone, we should be able to ask even the CEA group, anybody on that team, I should be able to go up to them and go, what's your science objective and where are you doing it at? Right? So everybody needs to know that part. So that's the first part. They listen to ideas and concerns, but they make the final decisions. You have to be open to someone else's idea. And that's going to be a real big challenge. Everybody's the same way of my idea must be the best. Allow someone else on the team, even if that person doesn't normally speak a lot in team meetings or in general, because you guys have known each other. It's a different story for you creating this team because you've been in high school together for a while. You know each other well. Take people even who do not contribute much normally, and if they have a great idea or just an idea, listen to it, right? Brainstorming sessions are all about throwing out ideas. You don't strike them down. You don't say they're stupid. That's a dumb idea. Why would you even think about that? Keep everything positive and motivating the people. And you'll end up with some idea that someone thinks is just crazy and they spit out to you. And in the end, it was the best idea there ever was. Okay? So be open to new ideas and be willing to be challenged on the ideas and the things that you have already in place. But in the end, you must make the final decision, right? It is the project manager and the chief engineer's job to make the decisions. You will end up deciding what the science objective is. You will decide where the destination is. You will end up deciding which design to go with. You will decide each of these things. My personal opinion is you make it a team effort, but in the end, you two can make the decision. And so remember that. You need to set the tone on the team. You should be calm, very calm about this. Do not get upset with people Do not, lash out at them. Bad idea. Be confident in what you're doing, right? Right now, every one of you probably has low self-confidence about this just because it's a brand new thing to do. But everybody in the entire project this semester, all 15, 16 teams, all 150 students are in exactly the same scenario. They don't know what they're doing. But you can be confident in knowing we'll get through this. We will survive and we will make it better. We will get this thing done, we'll win, and it'll be great, right? That's what you're after. And also you've got to realize you've got to have problem solving skills, right? Being able to figure out what you're going to pick apart of the problem, how you're going to do this. You also need to realize very early on, and we've never done this with leadership before, assign people to do things. All right? Make sure that Joe knows he's in charge of blah, 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 and it's due by this date. Create an action items list and assign people things to do. You can assign groups to do things, but give them a date that it is due and hold them accountable for that date. Obviously, this should be a negotiation, because what if Joe has a big paper in English and you've asked him to do something, and so Joe can tell you that and you have to negotiate, but you need to do that, and I highly encourage that because that will keep everybody on task. There should be no one on your team this semester who doesn't have something to do all the time, right? There should never be someone sitting there going, I don't know what to do next, I don't know how I could do. You should have an action item list and make sure they have something to do, okay? So, skills that are really good for project managers. They are decisive, right? They can look at data, analyze the problem, look at different opinions, and make a decision, right? I really like to do that. I don't like to flounder around. I like to make a decision. Whether or not, and then you can revisit the decision and realize, wow, we didn't have all the information. That was a really stinky decision we made back then. And I've done that so many times. But I will make a decision because I want to move forward. If you don't, the team never moves forward. It's kind of floundering around, just, well, we might do this or we might do that, or we might, No, make the decision, accept it, and go on. You might come back, like you make a science objective decision and you make a destination. After meeting with Matt and I and some other people, you might go, that's a really hard science objective to accomplish. Let's revisit that and change it. That's okay, but you made a decision. So be that way, be decisive. Be a good listener, right? I cannot stress this enough. Do not tune someone out because they have an idea that doesn't fit in your model or fit in what you think it should be. Listen to their idea. Think about what they've done. Maybe the whole thing is not great, but there's a part in there that's really great. The nugget that would be really great into the project. So listen to them and keep an open mind about all of this throughout the experience. And last, technical competency. Right now, everybody's in the same boat, right? So you've probably the chief engineer, you're the chief geek, so you're probably the geekier one. So you've got the technical competency there, but you're just going to have to go research. Google is going to become your friend throughout this entire project. You can Google almost everything you need to figure out for this project, okay? You can Google IMU, you can Google Europa, you can go on to Wikipedia, you can do all that. All of it is out there. The power of the computer and the internet is so big now, and you guys just need to be able to tap that, okay? So this is a very brief video. See, you are the lucky people. Although you're in charge and you've got to worry about you have all the responsibility and all the authority, you get me who doesn't beat around the bush. We just do it and we're over, right? The design group, how long was that video?
About an hour.
An hour. We're actually done right now. So see, you get the short video even though you've got the most responsibility, because I want to just tell you right now, you have a unique position in this project and your team can either live or die by you. So have a positive attitude and good luck, because it's not fun managing your peers, managing your friends and stuff like that. It's not a fun task to do. So I'm very proud of you for taking the responsibility and accepting this as a challenge for you over this semester. And we're always here, Matt and I are, but especially me. If you need me, email me and I will talk to you about it. And you can even talk to, once you should know by now the program manager that's assigned to you. You can talk to him or her a lot more, and they can help guide you as well, because they're seniors in college, and so they've had to manage people, manage teams as well. So they'll give you advice and help as well. So Talk to you later. Hope you have fun. Bye. Hey leaders, I thought I was done with you, but then I just remembered after we stopped the video that I had one more thing to tell you. So next week when we visit, we're going to do the team progress report number 1. The template's online, InSPIRESS website, downloads page under templates. Download that puppy. It's your job to make sure this thing starts getting filled out, right? Everything's not going to be complete, and that's okay. We understand, but we want the ideas. We want the things to start flowing, because the point to this next week is we're going to give you 15 minutes, and your job is to start telling us what you're doing, right? From a science objective standpoint, from an instrumentation standpoint, telling us who's on the team, and even CEA groups got to start talking about team identity. What kind of team names are we talking about? Slogans, logos, that kind of thing, right? So this is the idea session. This is the brainstorming where you start just pouring all this information to Matt and we start telling you, oh, that's kind of neat. That's stupid. Don't do that, right? Stuff like that. So remember, the TPR is due next week. You also have a team status report that you start doing weekly now. The day before we come in to see you every week, because we come on a regular day, right? Or the day every week. Just send over the team status report. You're going to get online, tell us how you're doing. You'll send it. It'll go to your teacher and to the project program manager, and then we can find out what you think, how well the team's doing. Okay? So all that's out there in the book, but I just want to remind you again through the video because I forgot a few minutes ago. Talk to you soon. Bye.